Welcome, PwC Africa. And firstly, and most importantly, I want to thank you for going on this growth series together. If you manage to get to one session or all the sessions, just know that whatever you managed to do was actually right for you right now in your life, and that you will have access to all the recordings from the wellbeing team. It will move to somewhere else after we've finished this series, but you can go and access everything at any time you want to work your way through a specific session that may talk to you at a certain moment that you really think you need to listen to help you at that time to take your next level growth step. What I thought would be useful is if I actually worked my way through all of the sessions and did a summary that sort of gave the main points for each of the 8 sessions. So if you don't have time to go through all of them, you can actually just find a brief summary here that will help you to be able to go and maybe do the one pager or do the PDF, whatever you decide, the exercise that you needed to really merge into that session. You can also fast forward here this to each session because it's going to work in order from first to the 8th session. So here is a little bit of a summary that I thought might really help you to reflect on either all the sessions or just to have that quick way to go into them. So firstly, I want to show you what all of the sessions have been about. So session 1 was Growth Series 1 was introduction and knowing yourself. Session 2 was about making time work for you. Session 3 was about reducing chaos and ordering the mind. Session 4 was a personal well-being goal or just a personal goal of any nature, or a goal that's of interest to you and being able to rev it back, reverse engineer vision. Session 5 was dissolve any fears and phobias on loss and really understanding how to move and transform your way through loss. And session 6, if it's not broken, then hurry up and break it, meaning step into your challenge. Session 7 was body, breath, and perceptions around that, and really being able to step into the well-being of the vehicle, the body we've been given to live our purpose and mission. Session 8 is it's really time to take action now and own your voice despite anxiety and step into your next level world. And here we are. This is a reflection session. It's more a Q&A opportunity. It's a little bit of a session like that, which is why I'm doing this summary for you to keep and use thereafter. So the first session was about really getting to know yourself. And the reason why it's very important to do your I am who personal value questionnaire and your I am who work values is to know what you love. Not what someone else thinks you should love, but actually to get back to what is most important to you in this world. And the Greeks gave this a name back in the history of it, which is called axiology. And axiology is that which you value and what you evaluate and what it is worth to you. I want you to understand that this is the foundation for everything that you do in your life. If you really know yourself well, it is so easy to plan ahead, to make decisions about your life, to make decisions about your day, to have a fulfilled life, to really feel present in your life, to be able to have that sensation of I'm here and now in my life. For anything I do, for choices I make, knowing who I am is critical to that next level of my growth and to actually really choosing people in my life that are actually going to help me to live my best and most enthusiastic life, my most inspired life. Everything is built from this, which is why it is so important to keep coming back to the questionnaires I've provided, because those questionnaires will help you honing in. Please remember that this is not about personality traits, about being kind. there has been a lot of literature that's been written that's talking about traits and actions and personality traits and boxing us together. Your I am who, as you dig in deeper to it, is also going to reveal your telos, which is your chief aim, your purpose in your life. So the deeper that you understand yourself, the more that you're going to realize that you're a unique snowflake, and that it's not about kindness. It's about kindness to what's most important to you. It's about commitment to what's most important to you. It's about leadership to what's most important to you. This is when you know that you're actually moving from your journey of I'm here to where I want to go is about what's most important to me, whether it be family, well-being, a hobby that you love, your work could be most important to you. And then to go a deeper layer and to really understand what you love doing at work, which is why I decided to do the I Am Who Work Values questionnaire. So I highly recommend you do those questionnaires, and I'm spending time on this slide because I know that for me, knowing who I am has allowed me to make my vocation my vacation. I see connections between my family and between myself. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I couldn't be who I am, because I'm spending my life trying to be someone for someone else. And I'd rather be a first-rate me than a second-rate other. Okay. And so I just want you to know that in this foundation, everybody wants to be loved and appreciated for who they truly are. And they actually want to be able to be that person. So I'm also not expecting my life partner, my husband, to actually be someone that he's not. And sometimes this can cause differentiation in what we're thinking. Like, for example, right now we are living two completely separate worlds. I am 13, I'm into my 14th week of stay at home. So I've got the kids at home. He's an essential worker. So I'm learning how to merge like work and cleaning and house things and chores and children and education of children at home, helping them to maintain some kind of level of learning, plus making sure that they're really active. So I've linked all these different areas together, and it's all very busy in swapping between them, moving between. But he, on the other hand, goes off and he's an essential worker, and he's got a trenchless company, which is to do with plumbing works and pipe relining and those kind of things. And what that means is every day he's out and about, even in lockdown, because of being essential. So he has a big focus on work, and then he comes home at the end of the day. And so he's getting out and about. And so what happens is, what's really central to him right now is focusing on that work. And what's central to me is family life. And what's important to me is the children. Are they mentally okay because they haven't been around friendships and social settings? And it's a big value of mine right now. You can see on my I Am Who, the children are coming in first. Okay. And so we need to learn how to appreciate what's most important to each other right now, because your life will demonstrate what is truly most important to you. You can say, I don't really like it, but I do it. But you will only actually take actions. You cannot help yourself but speak about, talk about, take actions towards what is truly most important to you. So remember that that is what's happening in your life as well. So that is session 1, and it's about peeling back the layers and getting to know yourself better, and continually doing that. Because if you look at Kohlberg's moral stages of development, we start off really well, like we're in the discovery phase, and we actually got self-interest under 6, and we're like looking to be who we are. We can't help it. We're gravitating. It's such a great thing to watch children at a young age. They cannot help but go towards what they love. And it's so wonderful to watch them, because it's already an indication of at that age of what's most important to them. So watch these things, and don't try to live your dreams through your children, but rather see what's truly most important to them, so you can love and appreciate what's most important to them, because then you can challenge them and they will thrive in their life. and they won't feel like I'm disconnected from myself. You feel like I don't even know who I am. You go through these stages, and usually it takes to when you're almost hitting your 40s before you go, hey, I really am getting to the next phase of my life. I need to ask those questions of who I am. But we can speed that up whatever age we're at and start peeling back those layers of who we truly are. So that was session 1. Session 2 is about making time work for you. And this is about getting one day right. Because if you can get one day right, you can get many days right. So I came up with 3 secrets towards understanding the gift of a day, because we've got all these fantasies about all these ideologies about what we want in our life ahead of time, and basically we're not grounding ourselves to being present in the day. And the truth is, if I'm able to get that one day right and I repeat it over and over again, I am going to be building a life full of presence, and I'm going to have a magnificent life that I am owning, not someone else owning, that I'm making time work for me. And we always say time is our most precious resource. I'm my most precious resource. This person, Jody, is her most precious resource. So I am going to make time work for me rather than time telling me what to do and being stuck in that way. Because what happens with time is, as I have pleasure, time speeds up. If I'm infatuated, it seems to like time is really fast, So when you're young, time can't go fast enough because you want to get older. But if you're in a relationship for the first time and you're kissing that person, then it feels like hours of having your first kiss. It's so wonderful, and you're exploring and experiencing it. And then suddenly you're thinking to yourself, it actually felt like minutes. Time speeds up. And when I'm in pain or resentment, then time will slow down. So if, for example, you're in a meeting and it's really boring and you're not feeling like you linked into it and you can't contribute to it, but you have to be present in this virtual meeting, which is even harder sometimes because you're not even sitting amongst people anymore all the time. And then what happens is you start to switch off and, oh my goodness, this is just dragging on. So I am going to master my use of time by being present in my day. And that means that I need to be able to plan for my day, because those that don't plan for their day let someone else choose their day and how it operates for them. And this is in every area, and it doesn't matter what level that you are playing at with work. You can learn how to manage your day. Okay, so the first secret is to say, how would I love to start and end my day? How would I love to be able to start and end my day? And to have a perfect day is to know myself and to know what's most important to me and say, where in my day can I fit my top 3 personal I ams, my top 3 personal values? So if it's children and well-being and education, let's say as an example, they're my top 3, not my work, but those 3 instead, then what I would do is I'd say, where in my day am I going to make time, however long it may be, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, to have that day? And then when I reflect at the end of the day, I can say, wow, that was a perfect day because I lived what was most important to me in this day, despite all the other things that happened. Okay, the other thing is to start your day. How would you like to start your day? Do you want to start your day with your phone and then have your phone switched on and go grab your phone and let other things enter your mind? Or would you love to start your day by waking up and giving yourself that time for you to process maybe what's happened in your REM sleep that you have, which is that beautiful deep sleep where you activate thoughts and ideas and dreams without having that movement of the body. So it's a deeper than the deepest sleep that you can go on. REM is where you do that, and you're activating your mind in REM sleep, which is wonderful. So when you wake up, you want to process what's happened, because you've engaged the parasympathetic, and I want to warm up my body maybe. And I don't want to basically see who said something on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or Snapchat. what emails have been sent to me, work stuff and things, and rush. But I rather maybe want to leave my phone alone and wake up and give myself time, warm my body up, maybe exercise it, maybe stretch it, maybe go out and do some cardio exercise, meditate, whatever it is for me, go for a walk, or drink a glass of water and write my thoughts down. Think about my thoughts. Whatever it is for you, I want you to think about how to start your day, and at the end of your day to reflect on it and say, what am I grateful for? That's secret number 1. Secret number 2 is to really now own your day. And this is a much bigger process than I'm able to present in this summary. So what I tell you to do is to go back to session 2, making time work for you, and to grab the events model that I created, which has thoughts to action. And it's really about taking your thoughts, writing them down so that you can see them. Because if in a difficult scenario, we will usually take a pen at this point still in our lives, it's still a pen or a stylus, and we will write things down, because it moves it from here onto a piece of paper or onto my electronic sort of diary or notebook, okay? And then what I'm doing is I'm looking at it and I'm able to bring order to it. I'm able to organize my day. I'm able to see what is the highest priority things I can do in my day. What are the most important things from a work perspective I need to do? And then I plan my day and I allocate time according to my highest priorities, according to what is most important. And when I do that, I'm actually able to have an eventful day. I also say in this that you choose one big thing for your day, one thing that takes 2 to 3 hours, not a project that's going to take days, something every day that takes 2 to 3 hours. So it could be a portion of a project, but it has a start point and a finish point that you say, I'm going to take those 2 to 3 hours to actually, give myself permission to do that one big thing that if it was the only thing I got done today and I focused on it, I would say, wow, I got through a lot today. So this is the events model, and this is about working your way through it and really being able to have that, instead of having that nightmare reality day where I end up being overwhelmed, have tos, procrastinations, all those kind of things happening to me, or others are telling me how my day will run. I'm moving closer to the go and the done day, which is the green level. And I'm also not getting stuck in imagination for hours, fantasizing about how my day should be. I'm actually doing what? Secret number 3. I'm folding time. I'm taking that nightmare reality day. I'm taking the fantasy of how I wish it would be, and I'm bringing the two closer together into action steps. I'm folding time. And when I fold my nightmare reality, which is usually my pain part, and I'm folding my fantasy, which is up in the clouds, blue sky stuff, and I actually pulling them together and integrating them, I get steps that I can do in the now, which widens my now. And that means I'm living this wonderful day with a wider now of present time. That's me then. And what that does is it creates wonderful relationships of working together as a team. It also creates good health, and it also creates wealth. Okay, so that is what you're building when you actually do this. And just as a final little tip for making time work for you, if you have tos and overwhelms and things like that, if you actually link to what you love and what is most important to you, if you're able to link, a task that you're procrastinating about to children, okay, then you actually connect the two together. So I can take something that has to be done, or something that's overwhelmed that I really need to think what's most highest priority, and I link it to something that I love, to something that is truly most important to me, that my life is demonstrating action steps towards what is most important to me. When I've created that link, or I create something from something that someone else needs me to do for them, and I don't really want to do it, but they really need my help, and I link it to what's most important to me, then I connect those two together and I integrate those two, which means a win for me and a win for the other, or a win for that work task that needs to be done and a win for me. And what happens with win-win scenarios is there's huge growth that comes out of it, huge focus, and it feels like I've connected want and need. I've aligned the two together then. I want to do what I love, but I need to do this, and now I'm aligning the two together. So linking means, how does doing this task serve or benefit what's most important to me? So I gave the example of when my daughter was actually doing homeschooling and she was needing my help, which stopped my focus on my own work stuff. I'm trying to fit a few hours in while I'm homeschooling for the whole term of term 3. And what happened was she came in and she had this maths problem. And, she just wasn't getting it. She wasn't getting how to do this task, which meant she needed to get it to be able to do the full 50-minute lesson. And I was getting so frustrated. I was like, I have to do this. And I really don't want to do this. I have to help her. But I really want to do what I'm loving doing, which is my work. And so I looked, and next thing I was getting angry at her, and now I'm starting to feel guilty and beat myself up for getting angry. So all these instinctual things are happening, and I'm getting all emotional. And she then's getting emotional at my reaction to her, because really she just doesn't know how to get this right. And these tears well up. And then I stopped myself and I said this question. I said, how does helping Isabella, my daughter, to do her maths serve what's important to me right now? Which what I was doing was actually planning one of my talks, which is so funny, one of these talks. And I was, in the middle of this planning phase and working out how to explain something. And what happened is I realized if you can't explain it simple enough, first of all, you don't understand it yourself. And second of all, it's about taking complex things and helping others to connect to them simply so that they can take action in their life. And that's my biggest thing, is that people can grow maximally. So it was right important to me. So I stopped and I realized that this is practice at the very thing that I am attempting to do every day in my workplace. So work is really important to me as well. And so what I did was I went and I practiced 3 different ways of explaining how to do this same maths thing to her, which was on equations. And suddenly she just got it. Suddenly it just clicked in her mind, and it literally took me 5 minutes of focus, not long, quality focus on her, thinking about it, but not losing. I wasn't losing, because if I lose, then everyone eventually loses, because we all end up in a big fight, and I feel like I'm giving up what I need to do to help her, no matter how young she is, no matter if it's my job as a parent, no matter if it's my job as a homeschool teacher, okay? It doesn't matter. I lose if I can't see the connection. So what happened was I then created that connection. I helped her, and then it made me go back to my work and say, how else can I explain this? And I found other ways to explain it. So it served to help me to grow too. All right, so linking is important. So think about this so that you don't see things that have tos. And they really need to be done, but you see them as I want to. I see how it's serving me now. And that creates a win for everybody, because you give your best to that have to task. Okay, so that will also merge and widen your now and get you present. Now, session 3 is about reducing chaos and ordering the mind. So the first thing about session 3 that I want you to realize is that chaos will continue to come. Chaos is what I consider the revolution. And when you create order, I think of it as an evolution. So it's going to that next level growth. But what happens is, as soon as I evolve and I jump, okay, because I see the order of the previous chaos, I get a new level of chaos to actually order again. And this is life's journey, is about continuously ordering chaos. So it's not about necessarily reducing chaos, even though it's the name of the talk, because everyone's like, yes, I want to reduce chaos. And some people see an ordered chaos at times in their lives, like there's some kind of order to the chaos that they have. That's because you've seen how to work within the boundaries of that revolution that you're in, okay? But to truly evolve is to move beyond it and have that overview effect and really see that hidden order below. And what I want you to realize is that your growth is about how quickly you can order that next level of chaos, that revolution that I'm talking about, that next level of chaos. How quickly can I evolve and see the order? So I can get stuck in the chaos because why? Because I might get stuck in my instinct impulse state. And my instinct impulse state is like the seesaw. It's where the pendulum swing. It's where I'm swinging from side to side and I'm going from impulse to instinct. Impulse means, something nice, okay? And instinct is something I'm trying to avoid, okay? So impulse is seek and instinct is avoid. So what happens is I go high, and then I drop down low. And that means that I'm in my hindbrain, which is my amygdala, okay? And my amygdala, those two little almonds, they're like almond shapes, are operating and they are activating my hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal glands, which activates my nervous system. So what does that mean? It means that the world on the outside, okay, means that I'm reacting to it. Okay, I'm having an emotional reaction to this. All right, so it's when I actually touch a hot plate and I go, ooh, like this, and I react, okay? It's a stimulus, and I'm just having that reaction to move away from it, okay? In this case, because it's too hot. So I'm doing the same thing sometimes when I'm staying stuck in chaos, and then I'm just becoming emotionally reactive. So what we want to do is we want to learn how to move forward to this part where we pause for a moment and we have what's known as reflective awareness. And this is where we engage the prefrontal cortex, the neocortex, the visual imagery. This is where we engage here. And what happens is instead of staying in the hindbrain with the instincts and impulse and just reacting, we actually start to process things, and we use before we make that motor action, that motor neuron fires, we actually pause, we reflect, and we think, and we process things for long enough to make an association that allows us to ideate. And in this case, we have our intuition, which is up here. It's our heart and mind connecting in an intuitive state. So see how it's higher. Okay, it's a higher level, all right? And that's why we're in the forebrain in this moment. And we have this governance, which gives us the freedom to actually make decisions, to order things, to ideate. Okay, so that's what we're looking to do here. And one of the things about keeping it simple that can really help you to actually keep it simple is to actually do mind maps, to do mind maps even, but to model things, okay? So I created this model, and you can pick all of this up in the one pages. And this model is about bringing order to something, whether it's a process, but making it actually pretty. So a model is more pretty, than just a business process. Most business processes, I'm sorry to say, actually get done for some kind of system integration or whatever, new technology, or because it has to be done. It depends on your organization, but because they'd be done, and then they get filed away and no one actually knows the business process or has time to go check it. But models are simple and they're easy to multiply and duplicate, and they look good, okay? So they create that visual imagery. So it talks to both sides of the brain, and that means it's easier to activate, And it's not about someone that's just written this step-by-step long business process. Okay, so use models in your workplace or anywhere. When you're doing a talk, to make it flow better, a model just makes it so easy to stay on track, to make it flow, and people are able to go with the journey with you, and other people around you can actually sort of understand why it works what you do, rather than you just trying to explain it to them. So once again, it just puts it on paper, it orders it, it also allows you to see any gaps in your own thinking, in your own way of processing and doing things. And I love creating your own model because it links your practical experience to your theoretical experience. And this is at any level of the PwC organization. If you're an associate, if you're a graduate, it is so wonderful to do this, because by the time you get to a partner, you've forgotten about all the things that an associate goes through and how to order those things. You're not in the detail of that anymore. So to have an associate create a model about that, can really help the leader, your partner, to be able to give more quality and quantity to clients. So don't think that this is about being at a certain level and then once you're a leader at this level, you'll do it. There is leaders at every single level. So go out and create your model, because when you do, you'll have this creative infinite. And instead of looking sideways or going to a textbook that's 30 years old with a model that practically doesn't work in this world anymore, you can actually now move into this creative infinite space where you're focused on your way forward. You have a definiteness of the vision that you're trying to create. You have fixity of purpose and a steadiness of this certainty. So there's this certainty and there's a posture that comes with that, which gives you that depth of gratitude for being on the way and things not in the way, ordering things the way that you need to. Okay, so session 4, here we go, and is about personal well-being goals. Okay, and this is about reverse engineering your vision. All right, and what that is, it's a process of actually going backwards before you go forwards, and it's about taking that fantasy of in your life and grounding it into reality. Now you can use this exact same process that I've provided to you in any time you're planning a goal, anytime. This is what I recommend that you use, whether it's a work goal, whether it's a hobby, whether it's something, a traveling you want to do, or a trip you want to go on, or holiday. It doesn't actually matter. It's a finance goal. You can use this anywhere that you want to. All right. And now for the 3 secrets towards this. So the first secret is, once again, back to that familiar thing that I was talking about earlier, which is make sure you know what's most important to you. Because secret number 1 is, if you align the goal to what you love most, the chances already of you succeeding and working, doing the effort that's required to achieve the goal is far greater in this moment when you've aligned it to what's truly most important to you. So choose goals that, not what you fantasize about or think you might want, or you see someone else that's got it and you think, oh, that'll be nice to have. Nice to have. That's a have word. Okay. That's not, I love to actually do this. I'd love to have this. Those words, I will, I love, and I really want. The want is actually okay. Want and need together. Okay, that's the kind of goals we're talking about here. Make sure it's those. The moment that I'm saying it's kind of, I should do some financial goals, or I should, plan for that extra studies that I need to do, or I have to, do this, or this would be nice to have. As soon as those cues of that imperative language come along, okay, then you know that you're not choosing a goal that's truly aligned to what's most important to you. So remember this when you're doing goals. The second secret is reversed first. So this means go into that reverse state first before you actually start to go forward. And this feels unique because it's like, well, hang on a second. Like when I start a race, I start at the beginning and I run the race and I finish it. So all project planning software does this. It does the same thing. It says, okay, start here. And what's the first thing we're going to do? And then the next thing we're going to do. What I'm telling you is that all the greats think very differently. They go and they say, what's the one thing that I really want that's aligned to what's most important to me? And they then reverse it back and they ground it into reality. So the example I give, it's like a bow and arrow, okay? What you're doing is you're pulling it back first, okay? The arrow goes backwards first and you're seeing how much tension can I take? So how much challenge and pain and steps can I put in place first? Okay, and I pull it back, and the further and the more tension that I put to this to ground it, okay, the quicker and faster and further it jumps forward. That's the theory. That's exactly how it works. Okay, and all I have to do is make sure that I'm correcting where I'm aiming along the way. You know, sometimes I have to make slight adjustments. I need resources. I need people to help me to achieve this goal. So I might have to readjust my aim a little bit along the way, but I want to know that I've reversed back and I've done the best job I can to aim correctly, and I've added that tension so I can go as fast as I can forward. So reverse first, and I've given you how to actually do that. And the last secret for actually manifesting your goal into reality at about 25 to 30% of a normal pace, if you did it the normal way, is to actually create a vision mind, not just a vision board. Okay, vision boards are great because it can give you some visual imagery. I really recommend them. I have vision boards. I love them. My children once a year do their vision board for the year, which helps them to think about what they'd love to create. And usually at the beginning of the year, it looks like a bit of a fantasy, okay? It looks like, okay, this is a little bit of a fantasy. And so they kind of, it's like, how are we going to do this? And then what we do is we start creating detail to that fantasy. Well, how are we going to do this? What's the first step, that we've created when we've worked our way backwards? So they take their vision board and they put pictures backwards to the ground, actually on their boards, and what they do is we then print them and put them up. But what's even more important than that is to have this vision mind, to create a mind that actually has an imprint. It's a blueprint in your mind. And the more detail and clarity you have towards this blueprint, the easier it is to just get on and do it. But also, here's something interesting. If I am able to hold an image for 30 seconds, which is virtually impossible, without having another thought come in to disrupt it, it will manifest before my very eyes. It will manifest. This has been proven by mentalists. Okay, they are able to do this. They're able to manifest things to happen. You saw it, when you watched The Matrix. Okay, it was kind of a little bit, showing that kind of example in the Matrix movies. If you've ever seen them, most people have seen them. And so, it's exactly that. It's like seeing something as if it's already happened. So just know, as you practice your goals and you practice goals for the now, the shorter term, because you need to earn the right to do longer term, you will start to create vision minds for other things, for things that are longer term. And the better that you get at this, you'll start to have things like a vision that's so clear, that's 10 years ahead, that you see it as if it's already done. Okay, and then it's just a matter of taking those steps towards it, because it's already so clear. It's a vision mind. It's a blueprint. It's done. I've created it as if it's happening in the now. So I've become the prophet, okay, and I can see my future. All right, and I can bring it back to the now. So know this is the reward for practicing doing goals this way. And I highly recommend you start practicing closer, shorter term ones and earn the right. And you will one day be walking like I was. I think it was the first time in 2012 I had a 10-year vision. And I had this 10-year vision, and I was actually walking in a shopping center in Johannesburg, and I was singing a song that was very inspiring to me in my head. I had my, earphones in at the time. It wasn't pods back then. And it was earphones. And I was sort of singing to this song. And suddenly I had this blueprint of this image, which I went and wrote down once I got home. And it was just so clear. I was like, this is just happening, as if it's happening now. It was just so clear in my mind, and you deserve that opportunity. People that are big leaders, like an Elon Musk, are thinking 300 years ahead already. They've got visions for beyond their lifetime. Their legacy is going to extend beyond their lifetime. You don't need to start there. You get your first level done and you will be on the way. And then once you get to that point, that vantage point, you'll get the next one and the next one and the next one. Okay, so just start. That's what I'm asking you to do. All right. And then the next one is the session 5, which is dissolving fears and phobias around any loss. So the way that I describe this is I said that you can use this same process for either transforming loss or transforming gain into presence, because sometimes we get stuck in wanting to stay in the gain, or we get excited and comfortable in the gain. And what happens is we get stuck there, and then we get surprises, and we get someone or something happening in our life that shocks us and grounds us back to being in our lives. Okay. The same with loss. We sometimes get what I call stuck in the loss. Okay. And then when we get stuck there, we remain there for long periods. So if you have lost of a very close loved one, usually what happens is you will get stuck for 10 years in that phase. You can be stuck there for 10 years. So that's why I came up with these 4 phases. And the first phase is being stuck in the loss or the gain. Phase 2 is managing the loss. Phase 3 is to be able to transform the loss. Transform it, okay? And phase 4 is to be present, okay? And it's all about presence. If we can be present, then once again, we can live that fulfilled life and not have, fears of loss or phobias of the future and then sort of regrets about the past, or being upset about the past, or that job was so much better. I'm stuck in the loss. I lost my job. I lost money, and I stay stuck in that story. I'm stuck in that painful story my whole life, or it takes me a very long time to actually see how it served me. So this is about, no matter what stage you're at of the being stuck in the grief, what I call the grief process. So the first phase being denial, anger, depression, bargaining, and acceptance. Okay. Before I had other tools and before I went on this learning journey, because I think a transformational journey is critical to be present in my life, I had my very first experience of the 5 stages of grief, like I told the story of my father who died of a heart attack in front of me. And it was an hour and a half. I went through all 5 stages, but my sister wasn't present at this situation. And it was a big shock. He was very young. Okay. And what happened was I went through everything all in one go. And then I had accepted that he had passed away because it was right before me. I saw the whole thing happen. My sister, on the other hand, was not there. She didn't see it happen. So she got stuck for months in the denial stage, which was understandable because of course she was going to be in denial because she wasn't present with it. But what I want to say to you is acceptance means I'm still stuck. I'm still stuck in that loss. I'm still separating. I'm still thinking about this whole person. And I got stuck for the normal period, actually. Even though I got to acceptance, I got stuck saying, well, I accept it, but it doesn't mean I like it. Doesn't mean I'm happy about this situation for 9 to 10 years. For I think until I got my next toolkit, which was such an important toolkit. All right. So the second phase I've come up with is almost like a stepping stone to transformation, and that is to manage the loss, not just to accept it, but to manage it. And to manage the loss, I highly recommend this low risk tool. So in any situation, any kind of loss, I've given a very deep one so that you know that it's possible to use this for the most hardest type of loss, usually for most people, is losing a really close loved one. Okay, a parent, a partner, or a child. That is usually the hardest, for most people. All right. But if you've had a loss of a job or anything, it can certainly apply to that. All right. So in this case, the first thing is to manage my way through it. And that is to do imago. And that is about speaking to someone, having a space of safety where that person just listens to hear your voice, to listen and be heard, to hear your voice back, to uncover what is it that's going on? What am I really missing about this situation? What's really painful for me? Not to have someone to come and give the advice channel, to ask a question or to try tell me what to do or to tell me that it's going to get better. Okay. This is about the person who's the listener, the receiver, is just actually receiving it and having curiosity to hear what it is you have to say. Now, this is a wonderful tool to use in highly volatile situations, to repeat back the voice of that person that's very upset, that's in an instinctual state, okay, or an impulse state, all right? To actually repeat the voice back. This is a wonderful low risk tool. I use it in workplace situations, organizations, with clients of my own that I'm taking on board that are very frustrated, maybe with their team or their people. Okay, I use it in all those situations as well, and it will calm the situation down to get to the crux of what can we do about this, to be ready to transform. So this is the process that you would use as the receiver. It's very important to say, I hear you say, and things like, am I with you? Which creates that connection. It shows I'm curious. I'm looking at you and I want to know more. So tell me more. And then at the end, the receiver can actually summarize. Let me see if I'm getting the essence of this. And as the person's speaking, to the other person, short bursts of this. Do short little bursts. And this will get you to what's maybe the crux of a problem sometime. If we actually listen, we don't do enough listening. We do a lot of thinking in our own head what we want to say next and speaking. So to be heard, but also to listen, can open up and widen your perceptual view of a situation because you're actually truly hearing what someone is saying. And when you repeat it back, you can't help but, even if you're angry, to actually start to really hear what the other person is saying. And so I find it just moves you more towards an intuitive state, intuition, which means I'm ready to transform. It means I'm ready to transform the loss. And to transform the loss is to take the parts of what I'm missing. So if I've lost a loved one or I've lost a job, I miss the friendships that I formulated, or I miss the conversations that I was having, or I miss the fact that there was beautiful coffee smell in the morning when I walked into this place, of grounded coffee beans, percolating or whatever. Or I miss that, I have someone to eat a meal with and to have food with. Or I miss actually just sitting together in silence. Whatever it is that you're missing, what you do is you break down that loss into parts. And this is going to take effort. Of course it will, okay? Because there's effort in reflective awareness to break it down into parts and to find where is the new form. And if I'm finding the new form, the result of transforming the loss is phase 4, which brings me into presence. And what it does is now I'm not having pain or just acceptance or it's okay, I'll accept it because I don't have, what option do I have? Instead, I have appreciation. I have gratitude and love in my heart. And when I have gratitude and love in my heart, I am also connected to that form. So I may take on that new form, but go and do this activity because it will really help you transform any loss in your life and dissolve it and not have fears around loss, okay? But rather have presence in your life, being present in the here and now. Okay, so session 6 is if it's not broken, then hurry up and break it. Okay, and what this is about stepping into challenge. So it's about really step into your challenge, make the choice, because if it's not broken, okay, usually you're going to hit a complacency stage. And when you hit a complacency stage, something's on the way. Something's going to happen, okay? And it's going to be what I call a surprise. All right, it's going to shock you. Okay, and you're not going to see it coming if you just leave it. And I know what it's like. It's the comfort zone. Okay, it's where we get comfortable in our life. All right, and so we're looking at how do we go and make sure we can break that. And the first secret on this one is compensation is all around us. Okay, compensation is all around us. What does that mean? You don't have a night without a day. You've got alkaline and acid, and then neutral's the middle, right? And then you've got profit and loss. Okay, you can't have a credit, as I think it was Innocent said, you can't have a credit without a debit. Exactly. Okay, you have build and destroy of buildings. Where there's a forest going down, there's a new forest going up where it was previously desert. So you don't have a forest without a desert. Okay, you have old and young, unfortunately, sometimes. Okay, we're going to go through all these phases. There is compensation all around us. Okay, so remember this, no matter how hard I try, there's compensation around us. So the higher that I want to create this side and swing on the pendulum swim, the harder the compensation of the fall will be. So the higher I go up on the seesaw, the harder I'm going to drop down, right? So this is the rule of the game. Okay, maximal growth of an individual or organization, the fastest speed of growth occurs on the border of support and challenge, on the border of that compensation. So little bit of this, little bit of this, little bit of growth, little bit of destroy. Okay, little bit of pleasure, little bit of pain, little bit of pain, some pleasure. The maximal growth, if you want to grow fast, stay closer to the border, because otherwise you're going to have extremes of positive and then extremes of negative. So passion, yes, is extreme positive state. Remember, we want to stop using this word passion. It's an extreme positive. Okay, I'm revved up, I'm pumped, I'm passionate. There's even pain in my voice when I say this. The compensation's already in my voice, okay? I'm passionate about speaking on stage, or I'm passionate about this project. Passionate, something happens, I skip the middle where growth happens, okay? And I crash and I burn. I have burnout. Okay, and don't think anyone that's jumping on stage doesn't need rest and recovery. Don't think that they're always, just because they're a motivational speaker, which is to motivate, to motivate you to do something. Okay, motivation is a passion state. It's a high and a low. You can't be motivate someone, okay, which is a motive towards pushing them, okay, and jumping up and down without you having the other side. Go and do your homework. Go and see what happens to people who jump up and down on stage. Do they do that and then there's nothing happening behind the stage? Okay, and do they do that and then what happens when they go home? Do they rest? Do you know? No, you're only seeing them when they're being videoed on stage. So you think, wow, look at this person. They've got so much energy. Yes, they do in that moment, but they're going to have the other side. They need to rest, or they'll be forced to rest. So those big swings are what we want to go and do our homework on, so that we stay closer to the middle, we stay closer to neutral, so we can act with inspiration, not desperation, inspiration, not motivation, okay, which is the swing. So stay close to the middle, and that is going to maximize your growth. All right. Otherwise, you'll just be swinging away like this one. Okay, the next secret is you can only hold on so long. Okay, so no matter how strong or fit you are, you can only hold on so long. All right, so just like the law of diminishing returns, everything reaches maturity. And no matter what you do, no matter what the input is, you cannot continue to get that same output, can you? In the law of diminishing returns, you reach a maximal yield, and no matter what it is, it starts to diminish. Okay, the output's just not the same. So even if you're climbing that rope, there's going to come a point where there's muscle fatigue. Okay, and then if you have to hold on, okay, you can only hold on for so many hours, no matter how strong you are, and then you fall. So you can extend the maturity for a certain period of time, but you will fall. So I need to learn how to actually let go, to make what? To secret number 3, to make the choice to let go, to choose the challenge before it chooses you. And the reason I've got this firewalk story, because I love it, because if someone knocked on your door right now and said, come outside, walk on these hot coals without any warning, okay, so the challenge hits you, the fire arrives on your doorstep and you're not prepared for it, you're going to go, but I'm going to burn my feet. I'm not mentally prepared to do this mind power technique or task. There's no ways I can do it. Okay. But if I choose to say, in 2 months' time, I'm going to go to this workshop. I'm going to learn how to get ready to visualize myself walking on hot coals. My chances of being prepared, of planning for it, of me deciding that I am choosing this challenge, my chances of success are far greater. They're going to be much, much greater. So it's about stepping into the challenge first. And the rule of compensation is going to play. If I choose the challenge, then the reward comes later. It's called delayed gratification. We are living in a world where there's algorithms going on when we're searching on Google, right? And when we're searching, it's letting us get this immediate gratification. It's giving 20% off those pair of sunnies. It's giving 40% off those shoes on the next thing that flashes up just because we move our mouse towards it. Okay, when we pause longer at a certain video, let's say I paused at I love well-being videos, so I pause at something like Les Mills for longer when I'm scrolling on my Instagram feed, okay, or Facebook videos. Guess what's happening? In comes the advert. Every time I'm coming in, those are the adverts I'm going to see, things related around Les Mills and well-being, just like meditation or any of these other things that you're looking at, or things you love to purchase like furniture. Guess what? They align it for you. It's called immediate gratification. Choose the challenge. Choose the pain. The more tension and pain, the greater the long-term reward, the greater the long-term gratification, okay? And the less sways from this to that and pains and pleasures and going, why did I buy that thing? Why did I spend that money? Gosh, look what's happened. I really needed the money for the deposit on my dream home, but I can't have that now because I spent it on the shiny object that flashed before me on Google. Okay, so remember this. Choose the challenge before it chooses you in every aspect of your life. Okay, session number 7 is about my body and my breath. And this is really about looking after the vehicle that you have been given. This is the vehicle for your life. This is your journey. This is what I've been given. And I have been given the perfect body to live my vision and mission. I know I've got the perfect body. My body is completely different to my brother and my sister's body. Okay, she's got a different body. She's got the perfect one for her vision and mission of her life. And my brother's got the perfect one for his vision and mission for his life. Okay, even though we came from the same mother and father. Isn't that amazing? And you can see that yourself. And sometimes you're like, oh, I wish I had that body because I could do more, I could be more. Or it's just, they're prettier, they're this, they're that, they're more good looking, they're taller than, they're nice and tall, or they're a mesomorph and I'm an ectomorph. You have been given the vehicle you need to live your purpose and mission, but you need to take care of it. Okay? Not to be careful, and not to be careless and not to have extremes, but to take care of it. so that we can live this longevity that we're looking to have. This life is already short, so we want to be able to use it or to lose it. Okay, so secret number one is the body needs consistency. Okay, it doesn't need all or nothings. So what tends to happen sometimes is we go on this flash program and we get a personal trainer to help us to do it, which is fine, okay, to maybe exercise our body. And we go on this amazing thing, and while ever the personal trainer is motivating us, you know, not us being inspired inside out, and we've got someone motivating us, we're amazing. And sometimes we will get into a habit. And then when we're left on our own, we're pretty good. But you will find, generally speaking, unless you've got a personal trainer your whole life, okay, that there'll come a point where you go, nah, I just don't feel like doing this anymore. And it'll start out as one day, right? And then the second day you don't do it. And then after a while, because you haven't done it for so many days, you're like, oh no, suddenly you're back to where you started. You know, and that's an all or nothing. So what I encourage you to do is to actually, all right, do just 5 to 10 minutes a day, but do it for the rest of your life. Make it a habit for the rest of your life. And just that is better than these all or nothings. Isn't that amazing? Because you're moving your body. Okay, so 5 to 10 minutes a day, and to go very slow with building that up. Go very slow. Take your time so that you've got the rest of your life that you're using it for. My grandmother is 93. My grandfather's turning 92. They are completely self-sufficient. They're living on their own, and they exercise every single day, unless they've had something happen that prevents it, like they're traveling. But every day they're exercising. Imagine. And their mind and body is working. They're using it so they don't lose it. And it's in great working condition. They're in good health. And some people say, they just got great genes, they're lucky. No, they have been given the vehicle to live a long life. That's part of the gift, right? The perfect body. But they have also taken care of that vehicle. They're consistent with what else? They're eating. They're consistent with their eating. They eat at the same time. They eat very much the same way because they're eating to live, not living to eat. So there's always this question about, well, what do I do? Do I eat? Do I fast? Do I do these things? I just say the occasional fast is really good, especially as you get older, over 36, because if you do a longer fast, like usually over about 40 to 44 hours, you get stem cell regeneration, which is so great because there's stem cells in every cell of the body, and that's a great thing to do. Okay, so the occasional fast is good. Some cultures have fasting as part of what they do, but if that's not something that you have to do, then as a choice, the occasional one can be good, but it's really obviously about homegrown stuff is going to actually be better than stuff that you buy that's not homegrown or that's not grass-fed, clearly, because it doesn't have all the chemicals in it. Knowing that it's organic, growing some things yourself is really useful. And people say, well, do I need vitamins? Look, it depends. Okay, it depends. You need to really pay attention to the quality of the food of today and if it's at the same quality or where you're buying it from. So it will depend. But what I say is get the basics right. See and know and understand the vitamins and minerals that your body needs and how much it needs. Start by feeding it with foods that have those vitamins and minerals. Get the basics right and see how your body performs from there. Once you've got the basics right, then you can see what kind of multivitamin that you may need. And don't just do it because someone says you need to do it, because suddenly you're taking all these multivitamins every day, but you're not actually maybe needing them. All right. So you want to make sure, especially when it comes to minerals, that when you're taking minerals, that which get stored in the body, to make sure you really need them. And first of all, see if you can't get the things that your body needs for its highest functioning through actually the way that you eat, the foods that you eat. So eat well, obviously, and drink water. Very important to drink water. Water came before wine, as they say. All right, so water came before coffee as well. So drink more of water than of other things. And just watch that quality of water that you're drinking as well, especially at the moment. Okay, and then secret number 3 was discover the beauty of breath. So learning how to use your nose to breathe in, as the quote goes. So it goes, the nose is for breathing and the mouth is for eating. And a lot of the time, as we go into stressful situations without realizing it, we have actually shortened our breath. We're not even breathing through our nose anymore. And this happened to me. And I thought, oh, it's because I've got sinus. I've always had sinus. So therefore, I can't do nasal breathing. But as I practiced the nasal breathing, I started to realize it really helped me, especially because I'm doing so much talking and presenting. I need to be able to breathe through my nose, or otherwise I'd be stopping going like this in between speaking, and I'd have to breathe through my mouth, which means my words are less likely to flow, which makes it harder for you to follow on with me. Okay. So once again, 5 minutes a day, there's lots of techniques I've given in the one pager. There's different types of breathing activities to reboot and to rejuvenate you. So look at those. All right. And the final deeper layer is finding that mean. And finding the mean, which is to add up all the scores, because that is going to increase your immunity. Labels are all or nothing words that we give to ourselves and others. And what it does is it splits. Okay, wellness is actually wholeness, which is the mean. It's about finding all the parts, having the widest view of the situation to actually be able to do it. And what happens is the cell's able to do its job then. So what are the benefits of doing things that, little interventions that split the mind, or having these caffeines or these Red Bulls or all these kind of things, or having stimulants and then having a sleeping pill? They all splitting the mind. Okay, there's none. There's no benefits to that. So if you do really believe that because of your mental well-being or whatever it may be, that you need to go to someone, that, remember, is your choice. Okay. But I recommend that you go to that person and you go on a journey to do it for a short period, if that's what you believe is the best intervention for you, so that you can get back to wholeness, the integration of your mind. And how do you do this? And what does it do? Well, it's like the cells climbing along. And if it has 2 positive charges, it'll stop dead in its track. And it won't be able, the kinesin, the protein, deliver its message to the muscles that it needs to do to create wellness and functionality of that muscle and to work that muscle, even if it's in the mind, okay, the brain, all right? And if 2 negatives are landing on us in our perceptual awareness, but this happens inside, then it has a direct impact on the cells because it's negative, then they have to stop what they're doing and delivering their message. And the adrenal glands, which are responsible for part of our well-being, to sort of let little bits of insulin go out to sort of heal the body, is now letting this big load of insulin out because it's stopping what it's doing, and it's going to do this to combat our distressful situation. So what's happening is the way that we perceive things is actually impacting inside our body. And as we know, it's everywhere around us. So what we need to do is we need to think about what's our perception, because a dis-ease of the mind, which means a polarized perception, a lopsided view of a story that we have about ourselves, or a story that we're running about someone else. They're always late, never on time. These all and nevers, like alls and nevers, all and nothings. Okay. So what happens is that creates a disease of the body. Now, I'm not saying that there's not other circumstances. All I'm saying is that if you would like to increase the immunity so that there's a positive and negative charge integrated, that allows your body to do what it needs to do. It allows governance. It allows wholeness. It allows well-being. Okay. So what you need to do is you need to say, I've been judging. I've been having a perception, a lopsided view that this person is always late. Okay. Then I'm looking for, where are they on time? Where are they never late? Where are they on time? Where are they on time? Okay, so if they're late to a meeting, where are they on time for a meeting? And I go and I break the label by seeing the opposite to the same degree, qualitative and quantitatively. And when I do that, I move into well-being. And actually, well-being is wholeness. And what well-being creates is part of health and it's part of wealth. So there's a money factor that's involved in this. So looking after your body is critical, okay? And it's going to help you to create more self-worth and wealth in your life. And it's going to increase your ability to serve and have relationships, which brings us to session 8, which was all about owning your voice despite anxiety. So we're still going to have fears in our life despite this anxiety that we're having. Okay, we want to learn how to own our voice. Now, we've been doing a lot of work at understanding what's going on in this world. What's Jody talking about in this growth series? What I really want, what the depth I want you to take from this is that every event starts out as a 360-degree view. And based on my perception of that event, due to my life experiences, due to what I've listened to that people tell me, due to my culture, due to my workplace, whatever it is, based on that, I will make a call about that event. Whether it's important to me or not. First of all, if it's not important to me, I'm not going to spend time on it. If it's important to me, I'm going to judge this event as something that I consider good. So if it supports what's important to me, okay, if it supports it, then I'm going to consider it a good thing. If it supports what's most important to me. If it goes against what's most important to me, okay, then I'm going to consider this a bad thing. And I'm going to make a judgment. The moment that I have that lopsided view, I've taken this event that actually had a full view, an overview effect, a 360-degree view, and I've pushed it to one side to a certain degree. So it's anywhere between sort of 1 degree and 180-degree view that I now have. I've judged it. That's okay. But that is the highest level. And then what happens after that? Then what happens is I have an emotion in direct response to the degree of how I've judged it. So if it's as in I'm really seeing this as extremely bad, my emotions of instinctual reactions, sick in the stomach, crying like uncontrollably, maybe screaming, are going to be extreme, my emotion, which is going to create that body action. Okay, so the body tells me the truth about the perception, about the emotion that that person is having. So I don't want to stay in feelings mode. What do I want to do? How do I maximize my growth journey? It's how fast can I get back to seeing that 360-degree view about the event that I have judged, about the event that I have had that one-sided truth on. It's not that it's not the truth. It's the truth. You actually have the truth, but you only have this portion of the truth. And we want to put effort in. That means we need to move here and have reflective awareness, and we go back to that moment and we see, how does that serve us? So why is this critical about the voice? The reason why this is critical about the voice is that leaders do this really well. They're able to embrace criticism as graciously as they embrace praise of something they've done. They're able to see that they've put the effort in and they've worked hard. They're able to stay focused on their chief aim. They're looking at the widest view, at the mean. They're finding the meaning, the context, and the content in the situation because they're hunting for it. They're saying, even if I can't see it right now, I know it's there, which means that they're willing to step into their next level voice, despite if they have some fear about it, because they know that there's going to be not just drawbacks to it, not just that anxiety of that past thing that's happened. They don't use the past as a place of resonance. They use it as a place of reference, knowing that if they step into that next challenge, they will grow, knowing that failure can come, but the other side of success comes too. Okay, so there's failure and then there's success, and both are happening. All right, so that's what they're doing, and that's what I want you to think about with this growth. This is how you grow. It's how fast you can balance your perception and go back to seeing a 360-degree view. All right, so now, okay, to be able to do this, to want and need to stop and to connect is to go, okay, is to go. But you can't do it just, connect and tell people what to do when you're owning your voice. So the stop phase is like a hook in marketing. It's something that stops you from scrolling and gets you paying attention. It means that the marketer or the individual organization knows the I am personal values of the people it's looking to serve, of the audience. This can also be known as your primacy, as your first words. Stand-up comedians have this really short period, this window period to get people laughing, don't they? So go and look at that, because this can be a great way to learn how to get people engaged at the beginning. All right, they are well prepared. They've done their homework. They know their audience. They know what makes them laugh. They know the subject matter, okay? And in stop, it means to listen and hear in imago. The connect phase, which is the middle. It's like the middle of everything, okay? It's the meat that you put into everything, okay? The middle part, all right, is like the story in a marketing thing. You're telling a story, you're connecting. It's where you've managed to get them interested enough to stop and pay attention. And now you're going to tell a story in such a way that you demonstrate that you truly understand your audience. You know what their pain is. You know their pain. You're talking about it. You understand them. You know their pleasure. You know their fantasies and what they want. And here in the middle, you know the journey, the process of how to get them there. So it's great to use your model to do that, okay? And you're also creating a connection which creates a relationship between yourself and whoever it is you're speaking to, whether it's in an interview, whether it's going for a promotion, whether it's actually speaking or presenting, whether it's speaking up at a virtual meeting, it's that phase. All right. The go phase is like the offer in marketing. Someone makes you an offer. They've earned your trust. They've created safety. They've connected with you. And now they've earned the right to offer you something. It's the punchline, it's the analogy, it's the chairman when he says recency, the last words that the chairman, he or she says, okay, the chairwoman or the chairperson, as we say today, all right? It's the last words, and you think that was so clever. It's because they've listened to everything, and now they've come up with this analogy. It's Ubuntu leadership, actually. It's when they speak that they've listened to everything. They've listened to all the stories, all the voices, and then they use a parable to actually get the go phase, the action phase, to create the ability to give advice. This is where you've earned the right. You've put the effort in to know your people, and it's the tell phase. And this is your ability to lead. That's the go, okay? That's what we're doing in that. 6 best practical steps to activate your voice is to actually prepare. The first thing is preparation meets opportunity. And the second thing I'm recommending is that you use a model, because it gives flow to everything. It allows you to also just have those little cues. So instead of reading a transcript, a lot of people these days are reading, because they're virtual as well. They can read their notes. But when you do that, you're actually not present. You're not present in the room, and there's a boundary, it's like a podium sitting and people stand behind the podium. It creates safety for the person that's speaking if they're nervous. But if I step out, I step into my vulnerability, and I'm saying, no matter what, I know there's going to be benefits to this. It's all on the way for me to do this. This is part of my journey, and I am here to connect with my audience. So I don't want to be behind my screen or reading my notes the whole time. Okay, I don't want to do that. I want to be able to sort of have just something that helps cue me in, which is a model. Okay, can really help you to do that and keep you on track. And then there's the body and the mind work. So that's the Amy Cuddy. She talks about 2 minutes of power poses before you get on. And what the mind and body work does is it helps you move from instinct and impulse states, being overexcited, having those things going through your body everywhere, to actually being inspiring, to actually use your intuition, to actually get present in the room, because in presence is where we say the right things, is where people can connect with us best. Okay, so we want to do that. Then it's number 4 is to help you on that journey is where you know that first 1 to 5 minutes. So depending how long, like here, I'm going to speak for, I want to know the first 5 minutes because this is longer than an hour, right? But if it's just a very short thing, like 10 minutes or I'm given 5 minutes, I just want to know the first 30 seconds. What am I going to say to get them in, and connected? And I don't want to have to think about that because I might be shaking. I might still have a little bit of nerves at this point. So knowing that first 1 to 5 minutes is where you do it, and then get away from that transcript that I'm seeing so many people do. I can easily tell, what's happening in people's body because they're not with me. They're not present. They're not there. Okay. And number 5 is edification. I use lots of people that I've studied and learned from. I stand on the shoulders of giants. I don't shrink in their shadows, but I also acknowledge who these people are, these models. I go and I acknowledge that I've done effort and work towards it, and I edify myself actually through edifying others. So I rise according to that, by helping others to rise too. And when I do that, it actually gives substance and it gives depth to the things that I'm speaking about. It demonstrates that I know my topic, that I've done my homework, that I've really put effort into this, and I understand what I'm talking about because I know the great leaders in this space, the other gurus, and I'm not worried about them being there. I love it when a team member knows more than me about something, because what does it do? It gives me the opportunity to delegate. When they know more about something, I want to edify that person that knows more. I want to raise them up. Why? Because I know they've got the detail, and they were the ones that produced the detail that gave me the opportunity to ideate and come up with a quick summary. So use edification down or up the scale. Okay, do both sides. All right, and do your homework. Use your numbers. Use the numbers because they are the logical part of the brain. So use numbers, statistics to help demonstrate your point. All right. And the last one is expectations and reflection. Okay. So expectations really is to manage your expectations. To think that everybody's going to love me is ridiculous. That everybody's going to like the sound of my voice is ridiculous. That everybody's going to like what I did in this growth series is ridiculous. Okay. It's just out of whack. I need to manage my expectation to know some are going to actually love what I say, and some are going to say, nah, not for me. This wasn't for me. It was too complex, or it was too simple, or I've got more knowledge in this space. And you could have had that happen through different sessions as well. And it's for me to stay focused on my chief aim, where I'm going, how I'm serving, and not to get caught in the sway. Like Margaret Thatcher said, it's spend less time in the sway and more time in the reason. So know and stay focused on my chief objective. And sometimes no one's going to like my idea. No one's going to like it. But then the next time everyone is like, yes, that's a great idea. And sometimes I'm going to have 50% like and 50% not. Like someone's going to be balancing me out. Like someone's going to go, yeah, that's awesome. Another person goes, well, I've seen this before. That's not impressive. All right. So you're going to have both. So manage the expectations you have. Okay. And just stay focused on your chief aim, but use the opportunity to reflect so you can go back to what you have learned. All right. So these slides that I've got now are more for reading to help you to really maximize your voice and to think about the story. So I'm just going to go through them. I'm not going to actually read all about them. All right. I'm just going to put here, and they will be in the PDF section, or you can pause here and take a look at the slides. Okay. So that was just to help you to really ground into this and step forward into your voice, into your next level world, because that is to activate that voice, to really step into it and to go and make a difference in the world. Who are you to hold back your unique ability to grow every day? Who are you to hold back just helping one person, just serving one person in your organization? Go forward and do that. Okay, so now we've also got our stop go words, which I promised to put into one slide. Okay, so every week, every session, we had stop and go words, all right, which the stop word's about the swing that we've been talking about so much, and the go word is about the intuition, okay? And I want you to see that it's events when I'm stopping, those are words that are in my way. They're in my way. I'm going to see my life as in my way. And when I'm going, events are going to be seen as I'm on the way. I'm on the straightest route. I'm moving towards where I want to go. Okay. And just remember to love yourself. There's nothing wrong with loving yourself. I'm not talking about that super inflated, egotistical pride before the fall and crash and burn. And don't be too humble not to recognize your unique self and that you are here to live a magnificent life, and you deserve to live that magnificent life. So love yourself, because when you love yourself, you give others permission to do the same and love them. And remember, to get that exponential result formula, you need to ground it. So here's a little bit of help, and you can pause on all these slides. And this is a beautiful activity to go deeper into your connection with yourself and to be able to own your voice and to really see where you've done these different levels of empowerment and growth in your life. Okay, and then here is just a beautiful movie. And it was in 2007. It was The Ultimate Gift by Jim Stovall. I loved this. We watched it with our children some time ago, but I love it because it talks about the gift of a day, and I think about the gift of a minute. That's what I think about the perfect day and all the gifts that we get. And it sort of goes through pretty much most areas of life, and it boils down to the gift of love, which is the synchronicity between complementary opposites at the same time. That's love. It's both. The positive and negative playing together is love. Okay, we only know that we've loved someone when we've gone from infatuation to resentment and we come back to love. That's when we know we've had the full cycle for ourselves. We're going to go through this in our bodies, and it's to come back to love and gratitude. That's the journey, and to see it as a beautiful gift. So to embrace it, embrace our moments, and to be present. And then here I've got your quick tools. So when you're really stuck and you don't have time to do all this harder stuff that I've been chatting about for this period now, you've got these quick tools. I've got this beautiful poem called If. It's really helped me in difficult scenarios in my life, and it just comes to me because I memorized it. If I can keep my head when all about me are losing theirs and blaming it on me. If I can trust myself, okay, when all men doubt me, or women, but make allowance for that doubting too. If I can wait, so I moved it into the first person because that's how I was taught it in 2004. I went on a growth course, and I have used this so much. So I highly recommend you memorizing this. You'll be surprised because you've really embedded it, that it just comes up when you need it, that one little piece to remind you, to move out of that instinct and impulse. And then this beautiful quote that I couldn't resist putting in is about climbing the mountain and enjoying the journey. Enjoy the journey. Pause along the way. Reflect. Take in the view. And just enjoy this journey that we've got called life, because we all have light. We are here to grow and make a difference. And the more that you do it, the more you give permission for everyone around you to do the same. So thank you for, if you made it through this whole experience that I've just done, and thank you for coming on this growth journey at PwC Africa. And thank you so much if you got to be here. It's just been really special for me too. I've had a lot of growth on this journey. So go ahead and make your difference, because you're unique and you deserve to grow and you deserve to have a magnificent life. Thanks.